Hey guys, how you doing? Hey, this is going to be my intro to the Air Wars minigame system. This shitty vid is going to be the system rules itself, and then for the starting game, I'm going to play Eagle Deck. But right now, let's go over the system rules real quick. Um, the map's broke down into a grid. It's a square grid. Um, there are reinforcement boxes where you place reinforcements, or I'm sorry, damaged and aborted missions. Aborted you get back at the planes that are aborted you get back at the end of the hour. The way times track's a little bit weird, but damaged have to be repaired through cards, and you're only allowed to move straight up and down or straight across. There's no diagonal movement. There's a command level for each side. Basically, whatever number that's on is how many planes you can have in the same square. So the higher your command level, the more planes you can have in the same square together. And that gets kind of important when you're trying to protect bombers. So there's some various charts on here. Bombing results and air superiority, bombing tables, air combat tables, anti-aircraft tables. There's a target sheet for each scenario. This is the one for Eagle Day. I've actually broke it down in the columns, and it's where you check off what's been bombed. Those charts are also reproduced down here that are on the map. Some of them are. The air units, I'll give you an example of one. Actually, I'll give you an example of two. Maybe even three. Alright. This is a fighter. Can't really see that. This thing don't focus very well, but there's an F right there underneath the right wing. It means it's a fighter. The yellow number 2 is its combat strength, and that number 5 is its movement. And since it's in parentheses, that means this plane can only stay aloft for an hour before it has to return to refuel. So basically, once it leaves an airport, it can fly up to 4, do a fight or whatnot, and then it has to return back at the end of that turn, or it's destroyed. Which is interesting. They're short range. Then you have fighters such as this ME-110 that does not have its number in parentheses, so it could fly the entire turn without returning to base. Well, it has to return to base before the end of the turn, but I mean, it doesn't have to go out, come back. But its combat strength is only 1. And then we have bombers. This Ju-88, the B there means it's a bomber. It has a move factor of 3, an air-to-air combat value of 1, and the 2 bombs there at the bottom indicate that's how many, for each bomb, that's how many dice it rolls when it's bombing a target. So in this case, this would roll 2 dice. There also are anti-aircraft guns right here. This number here is how many dice it rolls when attacking aircraft. This will work in whatever hex you put it in. If an enemy plane passes over or stops in that hex, it gets attacked. I believe even if it passes through, it gets attacked. There's headquarters units in this game. Some games don't have all of these counters. This game just happens to have them. Where's it at? I know it's in here. There's one. It's a headquarters unit. these have special rules or abilities depending on the scenario. There's cards. Each side has a deck of cards. Your command level not only is how many planes you can stack in one square, but it's also how many cards you draw each turn. And they'll have various things on them. With it'll tell you when to play them, or it may give you an option to play it here as this or play it there as that. And each side has them. We'll get into more detail with them as we later on. There's a sequence of play. The players are there's two. It's a two-player game. One player is the intruder, the other is the interceptor. And each scenario will tell you which side is which. The sequence of play is there's a planning phase where you pick your cards. You get any reinforcements or refits for the turn. Then you can redeploy, which means if you have planes back here, you can just redeploy them over to here, or what other air base you want to redeploy them to without having to like fly them, so to speak. It's just strategic movement, I guess you could call it. Then you go into the operations phase, and they are hours. So there's 4 turns in the game, in this specific game, and each turn is broke up into a number of hours, and the speed on the counters is how many squares they move in 1 hour. So that allows bombers, time to traverse the map, bomb something, and come back. Where am I at? So what the intruder goes first. He moves all of his units. He conducts any air combat. Any bombers that he has or any other aircraft he has over anti-aircraft units will fire. The anti-aircraft will fire, and then he can bomb. And then this interceptor takes his turn basically the same way. You move, air combat, AAA fire at your bombers or fighters, and then bombers go. Then the hour goes up again. Once you get 8 hours, then the turn marker will go up, but I believe, maybe not in this scenario, but I know in some scenarios there's cards that will reduce the number of hours in a day, and that can suck, especially if you have bombers clear out here. But where am I at? Okay, and that's the sequence of play. The campaign cards will go into more detail during the gameplay itself, or the description of this specific scenario. You can reinforce and refit units. Any unit that's aborted due to a combat results table automatically comes back at the end of the turn, I believe it is. Yes. And any damaged units can only be brought back through refit by cards. We'll get more detail into that later. Stacking, again, is a function of command level. Whatever your command level is, 1, 2, 3, 4, or 5, is how many aircraft you can stack in one square. Now, air basing, this airport, you might not be able to see that. Okay, this air base here, see it has the number 1. That means it can one aircraft unit can land there or base there. That is also the anti-aircraft value of this space. So, for instance, if I also had this 1 ranked anti-aircraft gun in this 1 ranked airport, that would actually be a total of 2 anti-aircraft dice against any attacking bombers or whatnot. So the number that's printed is not only the number of planes that can base there, but it's also the anti-aircraft value that's indigenous, so to speak, to this square, this grid. And these are anti-aircraft units that you can add them anywhere to the grid. I mean, they'll stack with anti-aircraft that's already there, but you can also put them where there's nothing, and then that'll give that grid an anti-aircraft value. And these can also be redeployed at the end of each turn. You can shift these around at the end of the turn. We went through movement. Movement is basically, it's real easy. It's this is a bomber, and then in parentheses beside the B it says SP. That means seaplane. This one can base out here in the fleet, or this is actually represents these collars. I'll get into that when we get into the Eagle Day scenario, actual scenario rules. But basically, this bomber has a movement of 2, and when you move it, you'll go 1, 2, or you'll go 1, 2, or however. But that's real basic movement. Combat is that's the number of dice you roll. So like a fighter, let me find a fighter here, like this fighter here with a 3 attack value, it would roll 3 dice when attacking, and it hits on 5s or 6s maybe, probably. I'm not sure. Damn phone always goes off when I'm on the goddamn. And then that's how combat works. We'll get into more detail as we play the scenario. I just want to be a quick rules overview for this. And this white dashed line going around here represents a radar line where units are supposed to be, supposed to be unseen. And German units, once they fly over this line, they flip, and they're known. It's known what they are. So and that's what that's for. But playing solo, I just let everything up and just go from there. And so next up will be the actual scenario rules for the Eagle Day game in the Air Wars scenario.